Hi there, welcome to Kneppy Invests. It is a very special day today. It is my birthday. Just taking the dogs for a 3 hour walk, and I've come home and I've just sat down in front of my computer, set the screen up, and looking forward to the fireworks that are about to go off on the ASX in about 12 minutes. The time is now 9:48 a.m. Another big down day on the American markets. Nasdaq was down almost 5%, and current futures for the ASX looks like it will be down about 3 or 4% on open, down 297. So whether it does go down that much remains to be seen, but still a lot of negative sentiment in the markets right now, and we will see a fairly big sell-off. And I do get excited about these sort of days. I am highly in cash right now. I've got $300,000 in cash. I won't go completely to cash because I'm not sure when the markets and the sentiment will turn around. And I do try to hold high quality companies at this point in time. And the reason I get excited about these sort of times is because the markets are correcting, because the share prices and valuations of companies are falling, we will see an overreaction to the downside for many companies. And that is the time to buy into those companies. So I am creating a buy watch list of companies not only on the ASX, but also on the American exchanges. And until we see absolute negative sentiment, absolute pessimism, until we have time, until we see that, I won't be going fully invested. I will have a fair bit of cash on hand to deploy until we reach that point. So when we do see absolute pessimism, that is the time to buy in. And that would be in a recession. I think it is highly likely the United States will go into recession. I'm not sure about Australia, simply because we are a heavy mining country, financial country as well. And so I think we will see potentially us not going into a recession. But I think right now, based off the consumer sentiment in the United States, they are in trouble. So still got 10 minutes to go. What I'm going to do, because I have not yet looked at the announcements today, what I'm going to do is I'll just go through the announcements. And if you haven't seen me do this before, or if you don't know how to do this, if you do use CommSec, and anyone can use CommSec. I do not trade through CommSec, but I still use their platform because it is, in my opinion, the best platform out there right now for what I want. And I want to see the announcements that have been released today. Any company that releases a negative announcement today, particularly a profit downgrade, will see the share price absolutely hammered. And that could be interesting. We saw that with Mosaic Brands last week. The share price dropped 50% on a profit downgrade. And I do think that was a significant overreaction from the market. However, the company could be in trouble moving forward, particularly if we do see consumers not spending as much as they have over the past few years. Anyway, so if you want to see all the announcements that have been released by the ASX, you can just go to the ASX website. I used to do that, not anymore, because CommSec has a much better tool here. So click on tools, click on company announcements. I wish there was a better way to get to all the company announcements, because you do have to go through a few processes here. I get rid of the company symbol, clear code, click go, and then we have a list of all the announcements released today, 329 so far, up until 9:48. But I don't want to read or go through every single announcement. Fortunately, we have a filter here, market sensitive. I just want to look at the price sensitive announcements. No announcements yesterday. It was a public holiday, not in Queensland. 107 price sensitive announcements so far released today. You can filter it a little bit further. For instance, if we're in Appendix 4C season, you just have to click on that. So this actually has been one released today, but that's an amended Appendix 4C. We don't care about that. Company administration, periodic reports, progress reports, but I don't filter further from here. I just want to go quickly through all these announcements starting at about 8 o'clock. 7:33, these would have been New Zealand companies who released that. And the second announcement we do have here, Sky City Entertainment Group have released earnings guidance for financial year 22. I don't really follow Sky City, so this could be a profit upgrade, profit downgrade, or it could be the first guidance the company has released today. And we will be able to see the reaction from the market in about 7 minutes, or a little bit over 7 minutes, because Sky City, they won't be open, or trading won't begin for Sky City until about 10:06 or something like that. So they are expecting normalized EBITDA to be between 135 and 140 million, and normalized NPAT to be between 3.5 and 7 million. Due to the uncertainty around the potential accounting adjustments required as part of the financial year 22 result process, SkyCity is unable to provide guidance for reported results at this time. So not really interested in SkyCity. The other thing I might do is I have a feeling SkyCity is performing pretty badly lately. So let's have a look at the chart for SkyCity really quickly here. And yeah, it's in a downtrend right now. So no interest in this company. Even if they released a profit upgrade, the reaction from the market might be a little bit positive today. But because it's in a downgrade, I think that positive sentiment, a very short-term positive sentiment, wouldn't last a very long time, just because of the downtrend. So let's go further. Nexion NNG released an activities update. I'm not sure what this is. I don't really follow this company all that closely. So no real big financial news in this. Work in hand has increased by $645,000 since the start of Q4, demonstrating strong growth in the hybrid cloud sector. I'm feeling this is a fairly low cap company. Yeah, market cap 5.7 million according to CommSec. That can be wrong. CommSec, or relying on CommSec in terms of valuation of a company, markup here can be wrong. I've seen it wrong numerous times. So just because it says 5.66 million here doesn't mean it is $5.6 million markup. And in fact, we can confirm that potentially in TradingView. And TradingView says the markup is 8 million. And you just see Nexion, there's no reason to invest in this company here right now. Share price has fallen from 40 cents to 6.2 cents over the past year and a few months. So let's get back to the results, or the announcements, not results. Some nice Duratech, additional $16.5 million defense contract. So I'm looking for particular wordings here. West African Resources hits 15 meters at 5.8 gold. So what I'll usually do, and this is something I don't always do, but something I sometimes do, if I do see an announcement I like, or a company, I want to see how the market reacts, I'll just open up that company's page. And here, indicative price for West African Resources down 3.85%. So I don't know that result. I don't know if that's good news or bad news for West African Resources. And it's going to be very hard to actually understand if it is bad or news or good news just based off the announcement, because we will see absolute negative sentiment in the market today. So even if a company does release some good news, we might still see the share price fall. And we saw that with John's Lynn's Group last week. They actually released a profit upgrade and the share price fell. So the market probably was expecting an even better profit upgrade than what the company gave us. So ATV, Active Port, released activities update. I'm not sure if I should click on this. I have no idea what this company does. Let's see if there's any. Revenue continues to climb and sits at 12.3 million year to date to the end of May. I'd say this company is fairly small as well. So they have a markup of 11.9 million. So I'm looking for bigger companies releasing profit upgrades. Wiser, that's not exciting for me. EEG, share purchase plan, not exciting. So not many exciting announcements thus far. Sometimes I do miss because I do go fairly quickly through these. So I'm really just strolling for particular wins. Halo Food, Coles contract win. I'm just going to open up this because I just want to see how the market reacts to this. So a share price is not up or down based off this news. You would have expected any sort of contract with Coles would lead to some initial excitement in the market, but because they released that announcement today, that initial excitement might not be there. Active Port, I won't get rid of that. Emerson, this is a company I'm interested in. So let's open up this just to see how the market might react. Again, down 4.7. Again, that's because of the overall negative sentiment in the market. Presentation, that Appendix 4C. Big River Industries released an Investor Day presentation. MicroX, appointment of second major US distributor. I don't care about that. Tyro Payments, or releasing, or every single Monday release a trading update. This is trading update 117. Get over it, Tyro Payments. We don't need weekly updates. So yeah, the share price has been suffering a lot. I'm just going to see how this reacts just because it's Tyro. Share price down below 90 cents based off indicated price. So nothing really exciting here at this point in time. Linus awarded $120 million contract to build HRE facility. I don't care about those sort of announcements. Oh, here we go. OpenPay May 2022 trading update. Hopefully, we see some insight into this trading update. Let's have a look. Revenue of $3 million in month, highest ANZ revenue month on record. So nothing too exciting here, to be honest with you. This is just an update to how they're performing. I want to see what the market cap of OpenPay is right now, and that is at 30 million. So I'm looking for Elmo. Elmo responds to media speculation. What's happening with Elmo? Has there been takeover news? Refers to recent media speculation in relation to change of control put forward to acquire Elmo, $6.10. Those discussions have since concluded. Will the market react to that? Because that is a significant premium. No, because they've concluded, the market's realized that was just fake news. Metalix resource update. Quick FE business update. This share price of this company has been dropping like a rock. So everything's up, everything's positive, and we'll just open that up because the share price has been dropping 7.5 cents now, just keeps on dropping, and down another 5% today. And let's have a look. X-Tech, Highcom deletes delivery. That's not a further order. We're just going to open up that just because I think, and there's no change in share price for X-Tech. That's not a new deal. Hope that was a new deal. Pack Gold, step out, drilling intersects target zone. I don't think that's going to get any sort of reaction from the market. Xantippe Resources, Argentinian lithium brine tenement footprint almost doubles. I don't think that's going to get a reaction from the market. Our share price is at 9, and I think we'll see share price drop. Yep, another 11%. Bit of Trajan. Oh, Trajan Group. This is a company I haven't done much research on, but this company I think is profitable and was a recent listing on the market. Strong order demand and growth continues across the Trajan business, confirming 4-year revenue guidance. So this is not an upgrade, downgrade. It's just confirming 4-year guidance. Let's just see how the market reacts to that. More than likely, it won't react much. So that was released at 29:24. It is now 10 o'clock. Market is open. So let's quickly go through the rest of these. Nothing too exciting. Here, Viva, Leisure, market update. Did I say leisure? Oh, dear me, I'm turning American. Financial year 22 guidance expected to be exceeded. Exceeded what? Anyway, we'll have a quick... We'll open up Viva just to see how the market reacts to that one. So that's not I didn't see any profit upgrade or downgrade there. And Bass Oil, quantum intellectual property, international expansion and business simplification. Share price of that company has been decreasing a fair bit lately. So maybe things are turning around, who knows? And Celsius Resources, a trading update. Good time to go into a trading update before share price of your company absolutely decreases by a lot. So that's about it. So the market has opened. So let's have a look. West African Resources, still down. Tyre Payments, they haven't opened yet. Emerson Resources should go down. So none of these companies would have opened. Elmo might have opened, not yet. Quick fee. What we need is a watch list. Okay, so far, XRO is down 1.37% at 2 o'clock. Not 2 o'clock, at 10:02. And you can just see here by the group portfolio, not all companies have opened up. So if you don't know, they open up in stages, and it's all by alphabetical order. So BrainChip has opened, down 10%. A2 Milk down 6.7%. 3DP down 7%. Lycian down 4.3%. Arctis down 7.4%. BHP down 6%. What's this one called again? Aries Resources down 5%. And BlueScope Steel down, well, down almost 9%. So there is absolute mayhem on the markets this morning. And this should not be a surprise because of what's been happening on overseas markets. And we actually have a look at that. If you haven't seen what's happened on overseas market, let's just go to not USA stocks, but the markets. We have seen massive decrease. NASDAQ down 4.6%. And we've just gone through a real good support level. And that's really bearish. So the market just keeps on falling. And the next support level is sort of around here. This was a low way back last year or the year before. And then if we even go back further, we have not far to go before we get to the top we just saw pre-COVID, which is just above 9,500. So not much more further for the NASDAQ to fall. So really bearish right now. Not only is the NASDAQ bearish, if we go look at the Dow Jones, that's just fallen off a cliff the last few trading days. S&P 500 just fallen off a cliff as well. This is not good. There is a belief that you can't time the market, but right now trend is down. Follow the trend. The trend is your friend. There's no reason to be averaging in dollar cost averaging right now because the trend is going down. So at this point in time, I do have a fair bit of cash on hand, and I'm waiting to deploy that cash. So when you do see market sentiment turning, that's the time where you'll build up your cash reserves, so you can deploy your cash reserves when the sentiment starts to shift. So right now is not time to go all in. Gold was down, was actually up the previous day. Now was down 2.7%. Bitcoin has fallen off a cliff. Look at that. It fell through this nice support level and is heading back towards 20,000. Ethereum. So these are not hedges against equity sell-offs. Ethereum down massively as well. That's just falling off a cliff. The other thing I'd like to see here is what's happening with the 10 years. So US 10 years has just ballooned up the last few weeks. That's because of inflation. The markets are expecting increasing interest rates. The problem with this is I do expect increasing interest rates, but because we've got increasing interest rates, inflation, and we've got really negative consumer sentiment, I think there's going to be a chance we're going to move into a significant recession. And when we move into a significant recession, you want the reserve banks to be decreasing interest rates. And if they can't decrease the interest rates, we do have significant problems in the world. And that's what the markets and why the markets are selling off right now. Australian 10 years also up quite significantly and is right on 4%. So 10-year government bonds are right on 4%. The other thing is, as the government bonds yields go up and up and up, people will say, well, right now cash could be an attractive place to put your money, which will put more pressure on equity markets, particularly if they think it's going to continue. Let's go back to some of the companies. Well, Tyro Payments, they shouldn't have opened up yet. Let's have a look at the group portfolio. Whoa, E&L Payments down 10%, 3DP down 9%. One company's up, Credit Intelligence up 4.21%. Fortescue down 7%, Dusk down 5.5%. Dusk is starting to look really, really cheap, $1.62. But the problem with that company is who's going to be spending their money on candles and fragrances. You'd think that's one of the last places you want to send or spend your money on. I could be completely mistaken. Maybe it'll be like lipstick. When we do see lipstick sales actually increase when we go into recessions because women decide to buy more lipstick for some reason. I don't know. There is actually correlation between increase in lipsticks and recessions or bad times. Anyway, so I do have a lot of watch lists. You can just see all my watch lists here. A massive amount of watch lists I do have. And sometimes this wouldn't make sense to some people. So I have an Excited Tech 2, financials, food China, food perishables, funds, gold, graphite, health exciting, etc. I will go through all these at the end of trading today just to see how some companies have fallen off a cliff. If we go to the internet, Satire down 18%, Kogan down 6.8%. It'll be really interesting to see which companies have been affected the most. And right now, let's just refresh this. The Australian market, the XGO is down 2.9% and should be down a little bit further. So down 4%, I think it's going to be out of its reach unless we see the market fall through the day. Wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit of a bounce. Novonix down 13%. So Lake Resources down 6%. Right now, the group portfolio is down 21% from the start of the financial year. So you can just see how the markets have corrected over the past few months. In fact, the group portfolio was up 20% not that long ago. Now it's down 20%. So we have seen a significant sell-off. And the question is, how long is this significant sell-off going to continue? It could continue for a while, particularly if we do move into a really bad recession, maybe even a depression, if we get stagflation. So if we see inflation remain high and the economies don't grow, in fact, if they go backwards, that would be the worst case scenario for most governments. And the Biden government won't be re-elected, and more than likely the Labor government in Australia won't be re-elected because the voters will blame them for the mess we're in, when it's not really the mess they have created. It's been a creation, not really of any political parties, but really a mess created by a myriad of things. I won't blame any one political party, person, but just a myriad of circumstances that have led us to this. The good times were never always going to continue. We needed this sort of thing to happen in the world. We needed a bit of a reset. That's just my opinion. I think one of the reasons why we are going to suffer is because we had kicked the can down the road during COVID-19. We wanted to rescue everyone. And the best thing, what happens in recessions, is a lot of bad companies will go broke. It's sort of a cleansing thing. That's what recessions are supposed to do. It's supposed to cleanse a system out of bad companies, and those remaining are the best companies, and those companies will grow. And that's why you do get good growth after a recession, because those bad companies have been set free. They're no longer in the system. And right now, we still have a lot of bad companies in the economy, and they are using up resources. So I think recessions actually do serve a significant purpose. And I think what a lot of the governments and reserve banks did is just kick the can down the road. And that's why we are suffering right now. I could be completely wrong. You could completely disagree with me. Anyway. Oh, XJR is now down 4.9%. Oh, I was completely wrong. So down 5%. I thought down 4% would be overdoing it, but 5%. It sort of makes sense because we just had a public holiday, and the American markets were down on Friday, and they were down big overnight as well. So this is sort of 2 days of really bad international conditions being piling in on one day. So if you did sell out a lot of companies on the Friday, you probably are smiling right now, even if your overall portfolio is down big. So my portfolio is down big today, and most people's portfolios will be down big today. Just how you react to this, how you have reacted over the past few months, and how you've set yourself up for the inevitable recovery. So don't forget, there will be inevitable recovery. So build up your cash reserves to take advantage of that inevitable recovery, which will happen, who knows when. Quick fee, that's still down. So we'll get rid of that, I don't think. So X-Tech down, Kneppy down, 10%. We'll get rid of these. I don't really have to follow any of these. And Trajan down. I want to see if there's any companies that are going up, moving up. So far, we saw that one. It was Credit Intelligence. Elmo down. Haddo Fields, which released, I thought, maybe some good news. The Coles contract, still down 1.75%, 5.6 cents. Well, yeah, 5.6 cents. Emerson Resources down 3.3. So not as down as much as it could have. Tyro Payments down almost 10%. And West African Resources down 5.9%. Viva Resources, Viva Leisure, I'm sorry, not down. So maybe this is the best performing company right now on the market. Probably not. Unity Group. Well, isn't there a takeover bid for that company? So that's why that's not down. Probably the same thing for Ramsay Health. That wouldn't be down much because there is a takeover bid for that. 3.3. That could be a potential buy, particularly if you think the takeover will go through. So a lot of these companies in the group portfolio down more than 10%. BrainChip down 11%. Novonix down 16%. Email Payments down 10%. Alcidion down 11%. Talgo Resources down 14%. TNT down, or Tesseract down 12%. PRL, what's PRL? That's Province Resources down 12.1%, and Zip down 18%. Credit Resources or Credit Intelligence is the only company up. I'll just go through some of these other companies. I was looking at I do have banks here. I wonder how the banks are going. Banks down big. I'm starting to get a little bit interested in some of the banks because they are starting to look a little bit cheaper, and I think the market's overreacting. I'm not talking about NAB. NAB's way more overvalued than some of the other banks, and no one's talking about ANZ. That's has a PE ratio based off pre-COVID of less than 10 right now, and someone's just Facebook me. Interesting times ahead. Macquarie Bank down 5. That's another company I'd put on my watch list. But the Macquarie Bank, if I remember, during the GFC did see a significant decrease in their share price. So that's sort of one of the banks that could be highly negatively influenced by bad times. I'm just looking for one sector that might be up. Gold would not be up. Gold would be down because gold prices went down. Yes, gold is down. So I'm just looking at one, mining big. So no miners are up. So everything is dropping today. There is absolute maximum pessimism in the market. I've got a little SAS. So just a few SAS companies here. PayGroup up. Symbol Solutions up 10%, although that's off a low base. So really interesting times. So have we seen any of your bounce? No, 5%. This is probably potentially one of the biggest down days we've seen on the XGO or the ASX for a long time. And the markets have completely opened. Yet we're 14 minutes after 10 o'clock. Markets are completely open. So now is the time to hopefully go through any sort of watch list you have, a buy watch list of those companies you would like to own, and maybe weed out those companies who maybe don't belong there, or bring more companies onto your list. That's exactly what I'm doing now, not only on the ASX, but also on international markets. I do have a USA watch list on TradingView. For instance, PayPal, which I actually do own. This is my first American purchase, but I decided the share price was at really low levels with PayPal. So that was my first purchase. I've been wanting to buy another American company, but because of this negative sentiment, I have resisted. That company would be Amazon, but I think Amazon could see some rough times ahead. They did go through a stock split. Share price is 104 and right at a really interesting support level right there. Netflix down 7%, Shopify down 10%. Another company I really like is Unity, down another 6% or 7%. Firm down 12%. So much negative sentiment right now on most of American companies. There's a lot of these companies were down more than 12% overnight as well. So interesting times we have right now. The market is correcting. Now is not the time to buy the dip. This is not a dip. This is the market reacting to potential bad times in the economies around the world. And the time to buy in those situations is at maximum pessimism in the economy, when everything looks like it can't get any worse, or things look like they can't get any better. That's the time to buy. And I think it was Warren Buffett who had a good saying. What was that saying? When there's blood in the streets, that's when you should be buying. So something like that. I could be completely paraphrasing him. So when there's blood in the streets, when it looks like it can't get any worse, or maybe it can't get any better, that's when you start buying. Now, there is one thing, I totally forgot to do this, one thing I do just to see how companies are reacting in a general sense. And all you have to do is go to one of the indices, for instance, the XJO, and they have a constituents part here. So we can look at how each company within the ASX 200 or the XJO is performing, and we can just look in how many companies have dropped in price and which companies are performing the worst. For instance, Square is down 17.7%, Zip down 16.7%, Novonix down 13.5%, Chalice Mining down 13%. We also see which companies are up for the day, and only one company in the ASX 200 is up, and that's Unity Group, because there is a takeover bid for that company, if I remember correctly, and that's up 0.2. Other than that, most companies are down more than 1%. The only other company that is not down 1%, or the other three companies down not more than 1%, AVZ, which that's in a trading hold. It's been in trading hold for a while. And you can tell it's in a trading hold and is actually in suspension right now because there's no bids, no offers. And Crown, that's been going through a takeover. I have no idea what's been happening with Crown. But other than that, the only company that is not down by more than 1% today, other than Unity Group, is ALX, which is Atlas Arteria, if I remember correctly. That is down 0.92%. So they have toll roads around the world. I think they have toll roads in Washington, France, if I remember correctly. Why isn't that? Come on. I'm pretty sure it is Atlas Eteria. Yeah, Atlas Eteria. They have toll roads around the world, and now it's down 1.6%. So if we do update this, let's update it again. It is now, the only other company is now SLR, which is Silver Lake Resources. Yeah, wow. Just amazing how I actually do know a lot of these companies by the T code. I do struggle at times just by looking at T codes, APA, MGR. Yeah, so I know most of these, EDVs, Endeavour. But again, most companies are performing quite horribly today. The other one I really like to look at is a small cap. Small caps usually perform worse in these sort of situations, down 5.43% today. Worst performing companies there is ASM. I actually don't know what ASM is. That is Australian Strategic Materials. I actually have no idea, but that's share price of that company has been dropping for a while. And other than that company, we have Vulcan, INR, Zip, INR. I don't know what the company is. That's Ioneer, Chalice, Novonix, Carnarvon Energy, CVN, City Chic down 11 points. Well, this is interesting. So this is one of the companies I have put onto my potential buy watch list because the valuation of this company is dropping like rock. This company's share price was well over $6 about a year ago. So if you go to year chart, yeah, it got to almost $7 in October last year. Now it's $1.73. During the COVID-19 panic, share price did drop below $1 for a brief period of time. So share price of this company is moving towards those lows. So the market is showing signs of overreacting to some companies. And this is one of those companies that is looking interesting, but it is still expensive, in my opinion. BrainChip down big, BetMakers down big. So I'm looking for companies that I would invest for the long term. There's not a lot of companies right here in the XSO that I will look to investing in for the long term. PWH is one of those companies. That's PWR. This is a company that I will invest for the long term, and the share price is falling like a knife. So at this point in time, I'm not willing to buy this company. In fact, the share price has almost halved in the past month. So this company is starting to look more attractive as well. So that's what I do recommend. People going through these sort of lists, looking at companies that you might think of buying for the long term and start to draw up a hit list. And when you do see sentiment starting to shift, that's when you think of starting to take positions in these companies. You can even, it's not all about timing. So you can't time the exact bottom, but it's not about timing the exact bottom. It's sort of riding the trend change. So when the trend changes, you buy in just after that change in trend, change in sentiment. So I still think we have a lot to play out. Don't be surprised if we see a bounce in the market tomorrow, a bounce in the American markets tonight. That would be normal, par of the course during these times. Don't forget, the best performing days in equity markets are during bear markets, because this sort of volatility is a natural sort of thing you do experience during bear markets. So other companies here, Appen, Nearmaps now almost less than $1. SiteMinder, Mesoblast at 71 cents. So some really interesting companies in this list. Tyro down 7.7%, Current Energy down 7.6%, ABB, Aussie Broadband down 7.5%, NWH 7.43%. And so really, Technology One, down 7%, but it's not less than $10. I really want that company share price to fall a lot, and I will take a position in Technology One. So I'm trying to look for any other companies. Nick Scali, another company I will definitely have on my watch list, but I don't think I'd buy into that company for a while until I really see a shift in consumer sentiment, consumer spending starting to increase. So that's it for this little bit. So I think I might leave it there because I've gone through everything I wanted. Gone through the announcements. Nothing too exciting in announcements today. Sometimes you will see that, sometimes you don't. And if you do have any questions about any companies I featured or what's happening in the markets right now, why I'm not panicking, why I do seem quite calm, and there are reasons behind that. I always believe you should prepare for these sort of situations. And by remaining fully invested, for instance, there are some people I follow who always remain fully invested. I think that's not the right way to play it, because even though you can't time the exact top and the top bottom of the market, you can time or you can judge the overall sentiment in the market. Right now, the sentiment is absolutely horrible. So why would you be buying companies right now when the overall sentiment is absolutely horrible? Wait for the sentiment to change. And it comes back to that saying, don't catch the falling knife. Right now, we do have a falling knife situation in the world, and there's a lot more to play out right now. And I don't know the future. I don't know when we're going to see everything turn around. It could be tomorrow. But don't forget, when it turned around during the COVID-19 financial panic is when the government's brought a lot of stimulus into the economy. They can't do that now. They can't stimulate the economies because of inflation. So they fear if they put a lot more cash into the economy, that's going to greatly enhance inflation. So we won't see stimulus to shift market sentiment. The one thing that could shift market sentiment is if Reserve Banks start actually dropping interest rates. I can see that changing sentiment. But because of inflation right now, I think that'd be way too scared to drop inflation. So really interesting times ahead for all of us. A lot of interesting companies falling to interesting levels. But even though they are at possible interesting valuations, that's not the time to buy. I do think you can buy at better levels if you remain patient. So that's all I have for this video. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. I've been looking in the microphone for a while. Should be looking into the camera. I'm not a financial advisor. If you do need financial advice, make sure you seek out someone who is qualified and can speak to your own financial needs. That's it for this video. Hope you don't have a massive red day today, but don't panic. Don't sell out everything just because it's down big today. Start thinking about what you can buy in the future at more attractive valuations and prices. But again, I'm not a financial advisor. Have a good day. See you later. Bye.